Hello, Lakesiders. We are back. We are here. And this may very well be the last time we are here.
As the misfits, yes.
As the misfits. Muy triste. Oh, I just noticed I need to fix something real quick because Mr. Me, we cannot see your face.
Oh no.
Can you move your camera
covered.
down a little bit?
It never wants to stay.
Oh, well, I can fix it on my end, so we will do that. Okay, there we go. Fixed. So, are you guys ready for the final episode of the Misfits? The final episode of the Curse of Strahd with all your wonderful characters we've come to know and love the last year and a half.
Wow.
It's been that long.
Wow.
We started at the beginning of COVID.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Wow.
we started like the week after or the week of the lockdown.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like, what, around February?
Two of us have
Very
had
much,
babies since then, and then I got
Mhm.
married.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't. It's going to be very sad to no longer do this.
Getting a little emotional. I didn't think I would.
I know, like.
I mean, what are we going to do now? Like, I mean, for those of you at home, watching at home who don't know, we are like a legitimate family. We are brothers and sisters.
I know.
And this is how
This
we
was
get
like our
together
weekly-
every week. And now it's like the end. And what do we do? What
We're
do
never
we
going to
do?
talk to each other again.
I know. We're gonna go back to how we were before.
No.
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 we
have
should
to,
we should do something.
We'll have
even
to
if
make
it's not
sure.
the campaign. We'll just hang out.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
family game night or something. Maybe a family game night on LLZ as like a Misfits reunion. You never
fun.
know. Yeah. Not D&D though, because I don't have time to be a DM anymore. Unfortunately. But that's okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back, adventurers, to the final episode of the Curse of Strahd, with your cast here at Lakeside Legendz. First, we have imra'lyr Sardith, the Shadow Elf Ranger, played by Lore. Kinsley, our firbolg cleric, played by Blair. Me, a changeling druid, played by Arthur. And Francisco Guadalupe del Valle, a changeling fighter, played by Trevor. And let's not forget about yours truly, your DM and master storyteller for this saga, DM David.
Woo!
All right, so on our last episode, our heroes finally came face to face with Strahd. Found him in a disgusting hall of bones that our characters do not know this, but used to be the barracks for the guards that lived in the castle back in the day. The bones in that room did not just come from some of the guards, but it also came from the old heroes that were brought in by Strahd, his playthings, even the skull of Argynvost. The dragon, the silver dragon, is sitting in that hall of bones. Our heroes were able to defeat Strahd and spit the little goblin that everyone loved so very much with his final attack, swung the sword, was it the sun sword, at Strahd. And as he did, Sergei, Strahd's brother, emerged, wrapped himself around Strahd in a loving embrace, and said, "Brother, this is for your own good." When a giant portal, a dark, evil portal, opened behind them, and giant dark arms came out and enveloped both of them. A hooded figure's face popped out and told Francisco that his deal had been made and he is off the hook. Strahd and Sergei then got dragged into the depths of hell. And what was left behind was Isaac, the individual that they made this deal with the devil to get Isaac back. Isaac is Irina? Irina, thank you. Irina's real brother. And she didn't find that out until after the demons took him, or right before. And now he's back, and the Misfits have again saved another individual. After that happened, a small orb of light was left. The very last fragment of imra'lyr's soul. Francisco took it and brought it to her. And she melded with the final orb. When she did, a light burst from her, exploding in every direction and eventually going straight up through the roof and exploding out the top. When this happened, imra'lyr was floating there with her eyes open, being nothing but pure voids of light. imra'lyr, you are now being lifted into the sky. You are coming up out of the top tower in the castle, surveying all around you. And what you see is utter carnage. The castle grounds and outside are littered with bodies. You can tell that a massive battle happened here. You look down and you see that Me's tree ant eventually laid itself down across where the drawbridge lifted back up. It was destroyed thanks to your army and friends, and the tree used itself as a bridge. However, your friends were never able to make it into the castle itself, for Strahd's armies stood and fought back, and no one survived. You look down and you see Ismark. You see Irina. You even see Mordenkainen. All of your friends, the Mardikovs, all dead. What do you do?
Well done. And I will mass.
A huge beam of light shoots out from imra'lyr and covers as far as the eye can see. And suddenly, everyone that had fell, including Kinsley's father, is brought back to life. imra'lyr, you slowly start to come back down into the castle. When she descends, you guys see that she has changed. Her hair is blazing red, the color of the sun, and it flows behind her. Her skin is no longer marred and scarred. She looks beautiful, but not just in a feminine way, as if like you can't tell, like a very beautiful man that could be a woman, very godlike. And she descends and lands into the floor next to you.
Are you the Morning Lord?
Are you okay? Should we be concerned about this?
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome.
Strahd was an old enemy.
The one who did the thing to...
Partly responsible. I'll be taking care of the others soon.
Ah, okay. Cool. So who are you then? If not imra'lyr?
To you, I am imra'lyr. To everyone else, I am the Morning Lord.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, sure.
You guys see Spit is kind of hiding behind Francisco, kind of holding onto his leg and looking around. Mommy?
Hi, Spit. I'll kind of crouch down.
He like walks over. He's dragging the two swords behind him, kind of like how a gorilla would drag his knuckles. He's dragging his swords. And as he walks up, he releases them. The sun sword, you notice, is no longer shining and glowing constantly. In fact, the blade, there was never a blade on it, so it's just a hilt. You can assume that when Sergei left it, it turned into just an ordinary hilt with no blade. And he walks up to imra'lyr, the Morning Lord. And he's looking up into her big, beautiful, now red eyes. But scarlet. Just very calm and warm. He's just looking up. Whoa. Mom, you're beautiful.
Thank you, Spit. And thank you for setting me free.
But if you're God, then what's gonna happen to me?
Well, you have two choices. You can stay here and be my champion, or you can come with me.
But what does being your champion mean?
It means you travel and help people in my name. Become a warrior.
No, that's dumb. I'm going with you.
I suspected as much. I'm glad to have you.
Okay, as this is happening, suddenly you guys see a portal open, and out walks Aphrodel.
Oh, Judah.
And behind him is an individual you have never seen before. An absolutely gorgeous looking guy. imra'lyr, how would you describe Fenris?
He has yes. He kind of has that K-pop ethereal beauty, like he could
Like
belong in an
Francisco.
anime that it's kind of a lot like Imra in that he has a feminine masculine quality where he looks more on the side of manly, so you're pretty sure he is a guy. But he's have just kind of this short coiffed hair that's white and very cold, green eyes. He has a kind of a sharpness about him where he doesn't look too friendly, but there's also this charisma about him that makes you just want to be with him, want to follow him, want to fawn over him.
Me leans over to Francisco. So, if she's the Morning Lord, and he looks all like fancy and beautiful, like that, is he the Moon one?
You know,
The Night Mother.
The Night Mother?
I don't think that would be very interesting.
Well,
I don't think that's how this works.
Well, I mean, but like the Morning Lord isn't the Morning Lordess, or I guess it could be either one. I don't know. My brain hurts right now.
I'm a god. I can choose. What
So then couldn't the other one choose? I don't know
Are
what's
you-
going on.
Are you referring to Fenris?
Why can she hear me whispering?
I'm a god.
Passive perception 30. No, passive perception omnipotent.
I love that stat. How can I get that stat?
You could be a god.
Okay, so
Not in my list of feats.
okay, as you were having this conversation, Aphrodel and Fenris start walking toward imra'lyr, and Aphrodel goes, "Ah, yes, well, my lord, it seems you have finally put yourself back together. I'm so happy to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for the secrecy, but we couldn't tell you while you were mortal, in case it never happened.
It would have gone to my head.
Yes, and in case you never became the god again, we didn't want to ruin what happiness you could have." You see, he looks over at Fenris, and Fenris just looks down and bows his head. "Yes, well, I am happy you are back to the way you are, my lord." And they both kneel in front of the Morning Lord, and as they do, you see beautiful wings like just appear, feathered white wings appear on their backs. It would appear that Fenris and Aphrodel are actually celestials that have been on this plane trying to bring their lord back to the way he was supposed to be.
Oh, should we be kneeling too? As Francisco gets
Francisco.
on his knee, he bows way too loud, and he fully prostrates, his head on the floor.
Have you found your new religion, Francisco? Is that what it is?
I mean, I'm standing in front of a god. What else am I supposed to do? My mom raised me to be very
really
religious.
awkward for me. This whole
Me
time,
just-
Kinsley has just been like, she originally went over to check on Isaac, but is next to him, just staring in awe, completely speechless.
Me doesn't know how to feel or react right now, so he's just for earlier he was whispering even though he knew that it didn't matter. He can't think right now.
I'm going to turn to Aphrodel.
Okay.
So it was your job to keep an eye on me, I presume.
Yes, both Fenris and myself were charged with watching over you, making sure that you were taken care of. We had some trouble finding you at first after the individual tore you asunder. We couldn't find anything. Suddenly, we heard whispers of an incredible individual in fighting arenas in the underground, and we went to check it out. By the time we got there, you were gone. But then you re-emerged, and we were able to strike up a friendship with you through our mutual dwarf friend.
And Fenris's absence.
Fenris was running all over the Neverwinter and beyond, looking for your soul shards. We didn't imagine that you would find them yourself. It would appear that no one's better at finding their own soul shard than the individual who lost them. We put more faith in ourselves, and we apologize for that.
I'm going to walk over to Fenris. and take his chin in my hand. Sneaky boy. I hope you're prepared for the consequences. And I'll give him a light kiss on the lips.
Ooh.
Of course, my
Spit.
lord.
Spit. He's going to be taking care of you.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Francisco just starts laughing uncontrollably on the ground.
And then I'm going to go over to what's his name again?
Isaac?
Yeah, Isaac. I'm gonna go over to Isaac. How is he looking like?
He's not dead. He looks that he is like he's unconscious. He's just on the ground unconscious. And he's only got one arm now. And naked. And his demon arm is gone.
Okay. I'm a god, so I'm going to just wave my hand and cover him.
Okay.
Modest it up for him so he doesn't wake up.
A beautiful robe appears and lays down over him and magically fits and puts him through, and it just like ties off like a godly robe. Not like a
Speaking of,
bathrobe.
I'm gonna put my armor back on.
Cool.
Well, Kinsley, I'm sure my friend is extremely proud of you for all you have done. You've brought her back into this land and you helped free me.
I hope so.
If you are ever in need of more than her own blessing, you can send a prayer my way and I will answer.
Thanks.
Thank you for taking care of us.
Are we ever gonna see you again?
You can't get rid of me that easily.
I just wrap my arms around Imra and just hug her.
I'll hug her back.
So is this your permanent new look?
Is there an issue with how I look?
Well, no, it's just I'm having trouble processing everything that's going on, and well, it's just kind of weird for me,
I personally think she looks hot. I mean, literally, her head is on fire with the redness that is there.
It's kind of very intimidating, and getting a little bit of PTSD with that. All the red everywhere.
Oh, I forgot about me's thing with red. I was thinking, what? The fire from the windmill?
That would be more Francisco's trauma.
Yeah, probably.
On the occasion that I ever do visit, it will be by the face you know. Me, the sun will always be there to help your plants bloom and grow.
Thank you.
Francisco, if you are serious about a religion, I hope you will consider becoming the champion that I need.
Hey, I'm the champion.
You're coming home with me. You can be the champion there.
Okay.
Well, if you are in need of a champion, I deem you to be the best god there is. Sorry, Kinsley. Only
When you created a relationship with her, I understand.
I mean, I know her personally. Other gods, I just don't know them as well. So, I feel like, yeah, for sure. I don't know, a Morning Lord, I pledge myself to you to be your champion and to bring justice into the world.
We have a lot of work to do.
Paladin.
Triple class.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can I just change like the sorcerer into warlock points now?
Becomes a patron.
Oh, warlock, yeah.
There you go.
Well, I have some things to take care of. Kinsley, you'll find him that way.
She indicates back towards the door, down the stairs.
I just look at my mom.
She looks back at you, and she's back in her firbolg form, no longer raging and hulking, and her eyes begin to fill with tears. And she looks at the door as if wanting to run.
I give a very thankful look to Imra, grab my mom's hand, and run.
Okay. So Kinsley and her mom take off and begin running down the stairs to go find a meal. How do we want to do this? This is...
Sorry.
No, this is good. This is good.
I've never met my dad, you guys.
Yeah. So we'll start there. Kinsley and Zula run back down the stairs into the crypts, eventually winding their way back toward the torture chamber room. It has since been drained of water, and you can see where all the holes and traps are that you needed to avoid. Fortunately, none of you fell in. You make it into the room and you see this firbolg, and he is no longer chained up on the torture table. Oh wait, you guys left him in the chair. That's
Yeah,
right.
we left him in the chair, and I put
watching his
my
favorite show.
Yeah,
blanket
that's right,
over
that's
him that
right.
I've had since I was
So
a
you
fur
go
baby.
you go into the torture chamber, you climb up on the balcony, and you see this very big firbolg. He's got dark brown fur all over. His snout is, instead of small like a deer's, it's more big and rounded like a bear's. And his ears aren't, they're more rounded. And his fingers and everything are more like claws. In our world, firbolgs are closer to animals than they are like the interesting looking firbolgs in the D&D handbook. So if I were to compare him to anything, he'd be akin to a bear. And he wakes up and he sees Zula. And he sees his daughter, Kinsley, for the first time. And he doesn't know what to say. Except, you've grown up.
Hey, Dad.
He gets up out of his chair, walks over to Kinsley, and gives her a big bear hug, squeezing a little too tight.
I squeezed just as tight.
Oh, this is so wonderful. I'm so glad that our family is back together. Oh, if only your brother was here. I don't know where he went.
Let's go find him.
So you guys take off through the castle to find your brother. We'll go back to Imra and Francisco and me. What are you guys doing?
So we should probably take care of outside, yeah?
What is there to take care of?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. There are like people out there waiting to hear if Strahd is dead or not. I don't know. Do they like intrinsically know? Maybe I'm mistaken.
No one else knows they died.
Everyone thinks that everyone just took a one big nap.
Yeah, there's also the issue of like, are these still fighting out there? Like,
Mm,
Do you hear anything?
I mean, to be fair, I haven't really been listening to the outside much. It is kind of quiet.
I was gonna say perception check, but
we can't really look outside.
and Morning Lord, omnipotent.
I mean, I know what I did.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
Let me make this easier. Aphrodite snaps his fingers, a portal opens, and you can see through the portal is the outside.
You take all
Oh,
the fun out
cool.
of everything, Aphrodite.
Yes, well, I get impatient.
So we just gotta go through. Okay, sure.
Are we
And-
going through it? Or...
I give him a little shove.
Ah!
The boys go through.
They stumble out the portal.
You guys go outside, and you see, as you go out, everyone that fought in this battle outside is getting up off the ground, looking at themselves like in disbelief and like cheering and being so happy. There are so many dead zombies and skeletons and wolves and every type of horrible creature you could think of that Strahd would have at his command everywhere. You are surprised that the small army you brought with you was able to even hold them back, because there are probably twice to maybe 3 times as many baddies as there are your friends.
Wow,
Crap.
they did
Good
a
job,
really
guys.
good job.
I know, right? I mean, shoot.
Yeah,
I mean,
the fact that
dang.
I don't did anyone? I
No,
don't see
like,
one person on our side down.
yeah, I know they're all alive. Holy
Wow.
crap. Dang, good
Dang,
job.
you guys are
happened?
buff.
You guys see coming through the portal, Spit has one of Isaac's legs. He's like,
let me help you with that. I go over and I help. I help Spit with Isaac.
okay, so you pull Isaac through, and you see over in the distance, Irina sees Isaac, and she comes running over, and she looks at you, Francisco. She's like, "Oh my goodness, you did it! You got my brother! I'm so happy! Thank you so much for I could kiss you."
Oh, please do.
She does. She grabs you, and she just kisses you right on the lips.
Yes. I've been waiting the whole campaign for this.
And she's like so excited. Like she doesn't just like grab, she like dips you.
Oh, my flowing white hair.
I lean over to the morning Imra and I say, "Man, his other girl must be really jealous."
Are you talking about Agatha?
Yeah.
I'll let her know.
As Francisco is being swooned back, and he has his leg is kicked in the air, like. You see that Morden Kynan walks over to you. He's like, "Well, it seems like everything worked out for the best. I'm not sure how he came back to life, but I would imagine it had something to do with you." And he looks over at imra'lyr and he's like, "You have changed quite a bit, my dear."
That's one way of putting it.
Well,
I don't know if dear is the right pronoun either now. I'm kind of confused.
yes, so am I, but gods tend to do that, especially to a man of intellect. Usually, wisdom and religion and intellect do not mix very well. So, Thank you. And oh my goodness, is that Aphrodite? And he like walks over, sees Aphrodite. He's like, my friend, it has been a very long time. Where have you been? And Aphrodite walks up. He's like, yes, well, it has been a while since the Circle of Eight, I would say. I left to go on many adventures and travel all the different planes of existence. I eventually found myself in the service of my lord here, my god, the Morning Lord. It seems she has been brought back to this land. That's incredible. That is wonderful. I'm so happy that these people have other things to make them happy now instead of just wine. He looks over at the Martikovs, and the Martikovs are like,
Such
What?
an interesting thing because of that whole thing with Imra.
Yup.
wine is good, whether there is gods or not, Erwin says, yelling over there.
This is true. In some religions, wine is considered sacramental, no?
Perfect. I will make sure that I will bring all the new churches in this area lots of wine.
But in moderation, no? Yeah.
As you guys are having this conversation, you see that the werewolves finally did come and join the fray at some point. They are there. They figured that if the world was to come to an end, they had to finally decide on whose side they would stand when all perished. And they decided the side against Strahd was the one they wanted to be on. However, they seem a bit lost. There is not one among them to lead the pack. The person who is going to lead now has her family, and they know that. They can sense it. And they're not sure what to do.
Me steps up. And he goes into his werewolf form, seeing them over there. And he like stands strong, kind of like, gestures to himself like,
I just picture Johnny Bravo.
Yes.
I don't think he's ever seen that.
Do you know who
I
Johnny
know who
Bravo
it
is?
is though.
There
Okay,
you go.
okay.
That's all that
As long
matters.
as you know who he is.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
You see
Like,
all the
Trying to
werewolves.
catch their attention.
They all look over and see the most beautiful werewolf they have ever seen, because me was blessed by Saloon,
Yes, he
the
was.
Night Mother, and is a beautiful shade of platinum. And they come over and they surround me and just start talking to him. They're all very excited. And it would appear that Me's found a group of individuals who maybe he can spend time with and be with. Eventually, things begin to wind down. Everyone's been talking, everyone's been celebrating. You see that in the distance, the rest of the Martikov family is bringing a wagon of the very last of the wine they have prepared. And a party begins. A celebration. Eventually, panning back through the castle, Kinsley and Zula, they do find Kinsley's brother. Let me take a look at my notes real quick because I don't remember his name.
I'm passing my pocket wine to the werewolves.
Oh,
And it's just
pocket
like
wine.
our secret drink. It's like, hey guys, I got this really nice wine. It's real good.
What does your pocket wine consist of? I don't remember
Jeez.
that.
Wait, is that the
It's-
outrageously expensive wine
Yes,
that we
it's the
found?
outrageously expensive wine that
Oh,
Strahd was giving us as our last
Oh,
meal, and I kept just pouring it in little vials, and I'm just
You
like,
did
this is
do
mine
that.
for later.
Just passing everyone little shots of wine.
Pretty much. I'm winning. I have to win over the werewolves somehow.
that's awesome.
Shot.
Chug, chug.
So eventually, Kinsley, Emil, and Zula, looking through the castle, you do find your brother in one of the tower rooms. And you see he's sitting there on a couch. Your brother, so your mom and you are very similar in appearance. Your dad is more like a bear. And your brother would probably look a little more like a fox. He's not a large firbolg, but he's not small either. He's got pointed red ears, a long snout, and tufts of white here and there. You see him sitting, looking down, twiddling his thumbs at the ground. Emil walks up, sits down next to his little boy. Venrith. I know the appeal you found in Strahd. I know his promises were lavish. Do you regret it? As they're sitting there, you can see Venrith begins to shake as quiet sobs escape him. Then he stands, wipes his face, and looks at his family. And he says, I only wish I can take it back. Nothing is more important than my family. And nothing will take me away from it ever again. I ask, no, I beg for your forgiveness. He transforms into his werewolf form and goes down on his hands and knees and puts his forehead on his hands and bows to his family. Emil and Zula look at each other and look at you, Kinsley. Kinsley, this is your brother. I know you have not known him, and I am unsure of whether you have ever actually seen him. He has committed some sins against our family, and it is as a family we must decide to allow him back.
I just look at my mom and dad. I look down at him and I kneel. And looking back at them, I kind of wait for approval.
You see your parents look at each other, and then your father looks back at you and nods.
I lift my brother up and I just embrace him.
Your mom rushes over, hugs you too, and then your big hulking dad comes up behind and just hugs all of you. As the sun begins to rise outside of the shattered stained glass windows in the room where Venrith was staying. For the first time in a very long time. Decades, maybe centuries. The fog begins to dissipate. The clouds go away. The thunder and rain stops. And the sun begins to shine in Barovia. Eventually, Kinsley and her family make it outside. And as they walk out, they come upon a fantastic scene. Tents have popped up everywhere. Giant casks of wine, only a couple, have been tapped. Music is playing. People are excited and happy. And you see a little old woman followed by a caravan of Vistani make their way into the camp. And she hobbles up to all of you, for you have now all congregated together, and you are all sitting at this beautiful long table. And it is filled with food. It is not as extravagant as the food that Strahd had prepared for you, but it's breads and cheeses, some mutton, some wolf meat that someone cooked up. The werewolves were a little about that at first, but then realized they were dire wolves and they worked for Strahd, and found that didn't taste half bad.
The flesh of my enemies.
And she walks up and she goes, "So it would appear that my predictions were true. And it would appear that maybe our Morning Lord has come back to us. I thought that might have been you in there. The cards tell me things that I do not reveal to everyone. But when I saw you take down the Black Spider in the Wave Echo Caves, I knew I needed to bring you here. I knew there was something different about all of you. And I thought that maybe my God was hidden among you." And suddenly, white feathered wings appear behind Madame Eva as well.
How many freaking servants do you have hidden in the world?
I
Holy
feel very
crap.
manipulated.
You
right
really
now.
know how to pick them. Wow.
Well, just because they served me doesn't mean I like them all.
Yes, well, Lafredel and Fenris and I never really got along, and seeing as how this is where it all began, this is where I took my search. And figured that if anyone was going to free Barovia, it was going to be imra'lyr and her gang of friends.
The misfits.
The misfits.
Thank you.
Thank you, my lord.
Took you a second.
I'm just sitting there like, how am I gonna? Yeah, wait, there we go. That mismatch. He said gang.
That's
Yeah,
true.
our gang sign, guys.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
So the party winds down. Everyone ends up passed out in different places. The next morning comes, and it's time to say farewell for the final time.
Well, shoot, guys.
So, where are we
So-
headed next?
I know, like, where's everyone going? I mean, shoot. This is kind of the climax of everything, though.
I mean, I'm down for more adventures out there somewhere.
I mean, I need to go check on my mom. It's been a little bit before I do anything else, you know.
Fair enough.
Love adventuring with you all, but I finally have my family, and it's all thanks to you. But I think I want to get back to my quiet life.
That's fair. I mean, yeah. You have your whole family. We've been kind of doing crazy crap the last who knows how long. So, you know, quietness would be good.
And you have your godly things to do.
It's time to go back to answering prayers.
Hopefully I can be a couple of those answers, eh? Yeah? Yeah.
I have some work for you.
So,
Are you going to be all right, me?
I'll manage. You guys have been my only actual family. But there's always a point in which we need to go and find ourselves. March our own paths.
yeah, you've got the whole pack to embrace.
It's true. You're going to have a lot of work on your hands.
Oh no, responsibility.
Oh no!
What did I do to myself?
You kind of chose that.
I mean, I thought it would be really cool in my head to have a bunch of werewolves because, like, you know, I guess then I also have the whole I'm now officially a druid and I'm connecting to the land, and now the land is gonna. Why? What did you all do to me?
We made you a man. Or a woman, depending on whatever you want to choose at the moment.
Hey, speaking of, you're free to be who you want to be, Francisco.
You know, this has grown on me. I'm not gonna lie. But the long hair, very unmanageable. Would someone be willing to give me a haircut? I'm thinking like very short on the sides, but kind of not super long, but kind of military look, you know. Anyone that good with scissors?
Yeah, speaking of which, my hair's gotten a little bit longer. It's like to my shoulders now.
Yeah, I've never taken care of my hair for
Yeah,
real.
I've never done. I don't know if I want to cut mine back to the length it was, but like, you know, if anyone's good at like braiding things.
I look at the Sun Lord. I mean, you are a god.
Are you asking me to use my omnipotent powers to give them hairstyles?
Well, I mean,
it would just, you know, get them to.
I mean, you could braid my
Right about
hair.
it.
I'd be totally fine for bonding with the Sun Lord braiding my hair.
I'm just gonna.
The easiest for everyone.
Hold my
Emra
pocket
waves
mirror.
her hand, yeah. Emra waves her hand and you guys both have like these incredible haircuts.
Fabulous.
I'm glad you didn't actually cut any of it, but I do like the style.
Oh, what does it come to? I'm asking a god to cut hair.
She's a personal friend. It's okay.
I hope.
Felt weird. I don't think I'll ever do that again.
She's still imra'lyr. He's still imra'lyr. They are still imra'lyr.
time that, given the circumstances,
Oh, I'm sure
But
I'll wake
after
up
that-
bald one day.
you might.
As you guys are, oh, go ahead, me.
In morning, what should I refer to you as?
You can call me Imra.
Imra. So you remember some time back when I had a certain friend who became a popsicle, right? That's what happened to him. The dire wolf I met that one time.
The
was
one you
pretty
were
chill.
trying to tame for a companion.
Yeah, do you think, like, you know, as like my one thing to ask you, you know, if you could make it not dead anymore?
There are other wolves you could bond with. Why
I-
specifically this one?
Like, he became special. We bonded in the temple and stuff, you know.
Me, just so you know, I'm aware you have an attachment to the Lich there, but I'm going to kill him.
Well, that's fine. I don't care about the Lich, but it's just the I don't really care about him. You can do whatever you want with him. I just want, you know, the wolf. I mean, you don't even have to resurrect him. I mean, I could try doing that. If you could just him here, I don't know.
DM, how much are you gonna let me do?
You're a god.
Okay.
Just do whatever you want.
And it's the end of the campaign.
Okay,
yeah,
so-
I'm done being nitpicky.
Okay. So I'm going to go into my writer modes here. So what happens is that from behind me, this ethereal dire wolf, and it's the one that he is referring to, appears out from behind him, walks around in his physical form, and then slips back into the ether, comes back, and then sits next to him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He essentially
Finally got the pet
is
he wanted.
your familiar, the way a wizard or a magic user would have.
Freaking dope.
Thank you.
It's a
I give the dog a
bad
hug.
infamy.
I give him a hug.
Any other requests while I'm here as a final goodbye before I leave?
You know what? I just want to go home.
Do you want to journey there, or do you just want to be there?
Are we on like another plane or something? How, like, where is Barovia? That
I
is my
can
question.
answer that. Aphrodite steps forward. Barovia was once a part of the material plane, but when Strahd happened and the world became cursed, or not the world, but the land became cursed, it disappeared, and essentially anyone who would walk in the direction of Barovia would enter into a fog and come out on the other side. It essentially had its own pocket plane of existence. Now that the curse is lifted, you should be able to walk out and be where you would normally be according to old maps of Neverwinter. In fact, if you were to hike about 35 miles south of here, you would run into Fandolin.
You know, I'm good
30
for a walk.
35 miles south of the gate, I should say.
Take a horse, maybe. It's nice. Like, Barovia is nice when it's sunny. I mean, look at this, guys. Holy crap.
I have a weed that I need to help remove before I leave.
Oh, Francisco, before you go on your journey, I take out the bag of holding and I start divvying up coin.
Okay.
Because I know he needed coin for his stuff.
Yeah.
So
Also,
you guys...
I pay Aphrodite.
Perfect. Yes. Well,
Because we have lots of
I
coin now.
appreciate that. Thank you very much. However, as my lord has been restored, I will actually be leaving the mortal plane. We'll be going, I assume, he looks over at Imra, back to your level of heaven.
After we take care of the Amber Temple.
Yes. Keep your goal.
Oh wait, I want to go to that too.
We're going to take a trip to the Amber Temple. You want to come along?
Yeah, that would be kind of fun. One last battle. I probably will be useless, but one last adventure
took
before I go
me-
home.
He took me by surprise. It is the only reason he was able to change me.
I want to watch you destroy him then, because that would be kind of fun.
For those of you watching, she is referring to the Lich Exithanter, who lives in the Amber Temple. A little backstory. Exithanter is the one who actually took the Morning Lord away from Barovia, captured him by means that are unknown to anyone, and tore the soul apart in hopes to use the godly power for himself. When he could not, he attempted to scatter the soul shards and essentially kick his deed under the rug and try to hide it. And he did this because he loves chaos. He loves to bring craziness into the world. So no matter how it turned out, he did not care, which is why he didn't bat an eye. Probably didn't even know who imra'lyr was, and didn't realize that the soul shards he attempted to scatter, 2 of them didn't go very far.
Also, there was that guy who totally wrecked me, and I'm a little bit bitter about that.
What was that? The Arcanoloth? Is that?
Yeah,
I
something like
think
that.
so. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
The
yeah.
finger of death.
Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
You don't go up into statues. We have learned from this campaign, statues are bad.
They are. They are the
Yeah.
weeping angels. It's a thing.
Well, my lord, shall we go?
Very well.
Before
Francisco.
before you do,
guys
I go
coming
and
back?
give you a hug. A real big hug.
I hug her back.
So is
Any
this,
requests before I
is-
leave?
So this is our goodbye then?
Yeah. It's time to go.
You guys hear spit sniffling behind imra'lyr's leg.
Down. Spit.
So we will have times when we meet together, yeah?
When I get home, guys, okay, I'm going to invite you all home, and we're gonna have a big fiesta. It's gonna be super grande, okay? It's gonna be so good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I
As long
am
as
a
we
prayer
have times
away.
to get together.
I like that. I'm a prayer away. I like that. Okay.
Teardrop away.
Well,
So-
you guys,
Hug spit.
yeah, I give imra'lyr a hug, and I let everyone know, just so you know, you'll know I'm there when you see a platinum raven.
Keep an eye out.
Dope. So you guys all pull together for a group hug. And eventually, Aphrodite opens a portal. imra'lyr and Francisco step through it. Me turns and joins the rest of the werewolves. And Kinsley and her family turn to leave. let's start with imra'lyr and Francisco. Aphrodite opens a portal that leads directly into the heart of the Amber Temple. As soon as you appear, fireballs start shooting from the eyes of that statue. Imra, what do you do? Imra waves her hand and it just explodes out of the side, and the Arcanoloth comes flying out. He looks over and sees the two of you. Specifically looks at Francisco.
I throw my spear into his face.
He throws it, and they fight as a commotion is breaking out. Exithantar emerges and sees imra'lyr and the Morning Lord, and Aphrodite and Fenris just kind of step back, and you two have your own battle. And throughout the midst of what is going on, the Amber Temple is being destroyed. It is broken apart, explosions happen, people are flying through the air, big bursts of energy just fly out here and there. From down below, the mountain just looks like it is on fire, like crazy explosions happening. Eventually at the end, through the rubble, imra'lyr and Francisco emerge. The Morning Lord has no scratch. Aphrodite, Fenris, and Spit just kind of sat there and watched. And Francisco, when you emerge, you have your awesome hair blowing in the wind. You have bloody lip, and a piece of your armor is all scraped up. And through the battle, you transformed into a bigger, buffer version of yourself. And you just look like an explosion in the background, and you're walking away from it. And both of you just slow motion walking.
Oh, guys, don't really bad.
And eventually it is time to leave. Imra, you look down at Spit, and you take his little hand. And when you do, two tiny little wings emerge on Spit's back. Aphrodite opens a portal. You say your final farewell to Francisco. He agreed to be your champion. So you place your hands on his head and bless him. Bless him as your champion. And as you do, the sun symbol appears on his armor, and a chain, a talisman, connects it. He is now your champion. And you tell him that when the time is ready, when the time comes, you will call on him. You step through the portal and disappear. Imra, is there anything else you would like to add to your story before we say farewell to your character?
So after all of that happens and things are quiet and everything's back in order, she's going to gather a group under her banner to destroy and root out the mercenaries and the individuals who were a part of the group that kidnapped her as Imra as a child, and get rid of all of that and start hunting them down. And then as her last thing, she's actually going to visit the people who found her and took her in and were her parents, and basically show them what they were a part of, and as a way of thanking them, give them a blessing. so that their house, their family is blessed by the Sun Lord.
Okay. Kinsley, your mother turns to you and she's like, well, my loves, what shall our family do?
Well, if it's all right, I'd like to stick around Barovia for a while and help reestablish temples and churches for the Sun Lord and Night Mother. There's also a little girl who seemed very interested in learning how to do what I do. And I'd like to spend some time and teach her, if you don't mind sticking around.
We have been here for over, 125 years? What's a few more? It appears that this place is going to be a lot more friendly from now on. What do you think, honey? I think we can do that. Why not stick around a little longer, and maybe our boy can right some of the wrongs he did while he was here. Venrith. There's so many names. Venrith looks down in shame.
Fenris is making out with the Morning Lord.
So, Kinsley and her family go off through Barovia. They find the little girl who was adopted by the two ladies over in Kresk and offer to train her in the way of Saloon to help her become a follower of the Night Mother. The little girl is very excited. She joins you, but her mothers insist she's home every evening before dark. So her lessons
Keep it on schedule.
Yep, her lessons stay in Kresk. Kinsley and her family reside there. They meet up with the abbot and learn that the abbot himself is a celestial. The abbot was sent there by the gods to try and continue the Saint Markovia's work. Saint Markovia was a saint that was in Barovia before all the horrible things with Strahd happened. She died, and then Strahd happened. And the abbot was sent to try and make things better. Unfortunately, Kinsley is able to decipher that he had been led astray by Strahd, for one thing, and from his disconnect from the Celestials. He was unable to connect with his god for guidance and tried to guide himself and got lost along the way. Now his connection has been restored, and he's working with Kinsley and her family to help, along with Ismark, who wanted to be the new priest over in the Valeki. You guys rebuild the temple there, and he begins praying to the Morning Lord. For the Night Mother has her follower here, and the little girl training to be the lead of the Night Mother's followers here in Barovia. So he begins praying to Imra, and she becomes his god.
You're welcome.
Can I say except you're well?
And me. What are you doing?
All right. So me does a formal introduction of himself to the werewolves and states that I am your new pack leader, Mephisto. And he gathers the werewolves to go to the vampire tree, and he spends time to uproot it and make sure not a single root is left there, so Barovia can actually heal.
Talking about the tree on Yester Hill.
The vampire tree, the one causing all of the nastiness.
Right. The death and decay. Okay, yeah, the one on Yester Hill.
Afterwards, he takes a short visit to a certain tailor in what village was she
Valeki.
in? Valeki, yeah.
The dressmaker.
He takes a quick visit to the dressmaker and checks on the clothing, after they've spent a while in Barovia uprooting the tree, and gives her some more commissions so she has work and money going. And I'd assume, since both Kinsley and him are still in Barovia, they come across each other at some points.
They hang out.
Yeah, they hang out, but at some point, Me takes his path to go find his original village where he came from, to go kill himself a druid.
The evil druid from your origins.
Then maybe, topple a monarchy and stuff, but that's a whole other deal.
Go back to Thunder Tree and make that the home of your werewolves.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I know.
I
imra'lyr wanted something to do with that, but
Well,
there's
Imra's a god. She doesn't need it.
there's also that whole family I lived with. Sorry, Kinsley.
Kinsley invites me and all of the other werewolves to join the Hallowed Moonglades Guild, because they're full of werewolves and full of other were beings and things who worship the Night Mother / Saloon.
Me would probably try to keep connections with that, so he has connections to you guys.
Awesome. And finally,
Thunder Tree, home of the
Francisco.
werewolves.
Finally, Francisco. Francisco, you're able to attain yourself a horse. And you, by yourself, leave Barovia. The only one to do in a conventional means. You go out to the front gate, and you ride for a day and a night. Eventually, as you crest over the final hill, you see down below the little town of Fandolin, the little place where your whole adventure began. You ride into town, and you ride to the mayor's office, and you see sitting there behind a desk as a grizzled-looking man in the lion armor. I can't remember what it's called, what the guild's called.
Lord's Alliance.
The Lord's Alliance, thank you.
Got you.
And he's got long blonde hair, and he's got scruff on his face. And you were looking at Sildar, who appears to be a little bit older than you remember him. He doesn't notice you. He's looking down on a desk, his hand behind his neck, a quill writing furiously.
Hello, knock knock. Excuse me, I'm looking for Sildar.
You see, as soon as he hears your voice, he freezes. And he looks up. And he's like, Francisco? Is that you?
Yes, it is I. Oh, man, what has happened to you in the last couple of weeks?
Couple of weeks? Francisco, try 10 years. Where have you been?
10 years, you're joking, right?
Does it look like I'm joking?
You said 10 years?
Yes.
Oh boy. And I fall back into a chair. That much time, huh? Oh my.
How are things with you? Things are fine. I'm married now and helping
Okay.
raise two beautiful children, and now we have actually a third.
Oh.
And it's been good. I am now the mayor of Fandolin, along with the guard leader captain here. A lot of things on my plate that I could have used a
Oh.
lot of help with back in the day, but someone had to disappear off the face of the planet.
Okay, to be fair, there was this old woman who read our fortunes, and then the mist around us, and then we were taken to another place, and then he fought them, and I just recount the whole thing.
Spend the next few hours. Eventually, you guys find yourself in Toblin's Inn. And you guys are sitting there drinking as you're having this conversation, and he is just blown away over the adventure you've had and where you've been and what you've done. It sounds unbelievable, but he believes you.
Okay, you're telling me it is 10 years.
Yes, 10 years have passed since you've been gone.
Where how's my mom? It's been 10 years. I mean,
Your mother's fine. She's alive.
okay,
She remarried,
that's good.
but to be honest, she's not doing well.
Oh,
I've taken it upon myself every time I'm in Neverwinter to check on her, to talk with her. I knew it was the only thing I could do. So I did what I could. But through the conversations she and I had, she never gave up on you. She loves you so much. You should probably go see her.
I am going to leave right now. Thank you so much, Hilda. Thank you so much for everything you've done over the years for her.
You're very welcome, my friend. And I hope maybe eventually you'll come back and help me out in Fandolin, or at least convince them to bring me more guys.
I will do what I can when I get back. I don't know if they're going to believe that I am Mia because it has been 10 years. But we will find out.
Well, good luck, my friend. And tell your mother hi.
I will. Thank you so much again. And I leave, I get on my horse, and I ride as fast as I can to Neverwinter.
Okay. Normally, I believe it would take you a day to get there. But knowing that this is a big deal and you need to get there quickly, Sildar gives you a fresh horse, the fastest horse he has out of the guard stable, and you ride and get there in record time. You get there just as the sun is coming up for you. When you got to Fandolin and you had the conversation, it was dark. You rode all through the night. You get there as the sun is rising, the roosters are crowing, and you ride up to the little cottage your mother has in Neverwinter. The cute little house.
I go up to the door and I knock.
You knock on the door, and you hear from within,
Hello? Is that my Francisco? Is that him? Is he finally back, my little boy? Oh.
I open the door and I call in, Mama, estoy aquí, I'm here. I've come home.
Oh, me little boy. I love you so much. Where have you been?
you see this little old lady just starts waddling up to you. She's got a cane now, so she can't move very, very fast. It appears that she was able to make it through the last 10 years. So someone must have come along and paid for that surgery she so desperately needed.
I embrace her and I hold her in my arms. And I just keep reassuring her that I'm here.
She hugs you back, and as she does, she starts kissing your face and then turns and
Mama, are you okay?
It's nothing. It's nothing. Let me. Where's my chair? I need my chair.
And I help her over to her chair. I sit her down.
Oh, Francisquito, where have you been? My little boy. I knew you were gone on adventures, but I thought maybe you would come home and check in with me. Maybe, where have you been?
It is very complicated. Honestly, for me, it has only been a couple of weeks. And I recount the story yet again to her about Strahd and Barovia and all the things that we went through together as the Misfits.
She is in awe of the whole story and listens so very intently. You see her eyes brighten and she follows along to your every word. It's like telling a story to a child, to an individual who is just enamored with adventure and just loves you so very much. And she smiles and laughs at all the right parts, and she gets upset when bad things happen in the story and just loves it so much. Eventually, a man comes to the house, and your mother introduces him as her new husband, and you come to find that he's the individual that paid for her surgery. He was able to take care of her. And he's so very happy to finally meet the young man.
Hello, I am Francisco Guadalupe del Valle, and you are my stepfather. Prepare to be embraced. and I hold him in my arms. I hug him real tight.
You hug him real tight. Francisco, you spend the next month spending time almost every day, every minute of every day with your mother. Until the day comes that her sickness finally takes her. She dies on her bed, holding your hand. Her final words.
My boy, I am so proud. You fill my heart with so much joy. I love you.
I love you too, Mama. And as she's closing her eyes to rest for the last time, I sing her the lullaby that she would sing me when I was a child. Teach me to walk in the light of your love. Teach me to know of my Father above. Teach me to know of the things that are right. Teach me to walk in the light. And I go through the next couple of verses singing to her as she falls asleep.
What do you do from there, Francisco?
Over the next week, I prepare her funeral, and I invite all my friends. I pray to the morning Lord, like, hey, this is kind of important. I don't know if you saw this, but kind of a big deal. I send word out, try to get as many people as I know together as quickly as possible. And I hold her funeral. And there, I imagine it kind of a small affair, not a ton of people, but everyone that Francisco knew and cared about. And at the funeral, he talks about his mother, how she was the one who raised him to be the hero he hopes to be for others, raised him on stories of adventure, and on stories of love and kindness to others. After the funeral, Francisco spends another couple weeks with his stepfather and decides to give him the rest of the money that he had collected, that Kinsley had given to him. And then he heads south to go find his grandfather, the one who had kicked out his mother when she became pregnant with him. He goes and talks to him, finds him, this old man sitting in a rocking chair watching over his plantation as his sons and grandsons work the fields. And he introduces himself and he says, "Hello, I am Francisco Guadalupe del Valle, your grandson. And I have a very tragic tale to tell you." I tell him about my mom, tell him about everything that has happened over the course of my life, and spend the next couple of months reconnecting with old roots. Then from there, Francisco spends the rest of his life in service of the Morning Lord, righting wrongs, correcting injustices in the world, being the hero his mom hoped he would be. Until one day, he catches wind of a rising evil from the 9 hells. The one he thought he had sent to be tortured actually came up again as a devil Strahd. So he, along with a couple of other people he could find that he deemed powerful enough, went to the 9 hells to fight Strahd yet again. And from there, no one heard from Francisco Guadalupe del Valle again. No one knows if he succeeded or failed in the battle, or if he came back quietly and retired.
Sounds like a one shot to me.
Yeah, I kind of got it like.
Well,
Got intense at the end.
and that's where we bring our story to a close. It is the end of an era, the end of the Misfits, but just the beginning, as you've heard, of other adventures. Does anyone have anything they want to announce?
Oh man, that was it.
That was it.
It's over. Oh my gosh.
Just thank you, everybody who's stuck with us through the campaign and who are here watching us, and those who will go watch the VODs. It's definitely been a journey, and I don't think any of us expected it to come to this kind of a conclusion. I certainly didn't. So I was expecting other things. Didn't realize that the conversation about being a god was going to be what actually happened. So
Yeah.
if anyone thought that I
That
knew
was,
that was my ending,
It
I
came
didn't
out like,
know.
no. I'm like, huh? Nani?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was not anything I wrote into my story. So
Well, as a DM, I have to take your backstories and finagle them into something. So that's just what it
And-
finagled into.
and it was awesome. So much fun.
Much finagling.
But do you ask what finagling is?
No. So much finagling.
So much. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we've used that before. Monday nights, Aether Realms, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Twitch. We did not have a game last week. I had forgotten. I knew something was up with that Monday, but I couldn't remember specifically. But we're coming back on Monday with the cast. So come see us there. At least me, not these guys. Sorry. But go onto our website, lakesidelegends.com. All of our content will be there. We're doing a little catch up, but most everything is there. You can find our social media, interact with us, Discord, all that stuff.
All right. Anyone have anything else? No?
Just thank you guys again so much.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for being there for us. I hope we brought a little light into your lives through the last year and a half. and thank you for joining us on this last episode down by the lakeside. See ya.